they should tell Akpabio that Akpabio will be resigning from the senatorial seat that he had been occupying, if they should tell Akpabio that he's going to leave the office in few hours, Akpabio will not believe it, because when the issue of Natasha actually started, a lot of people were actually telling Akpabio to step down for the investigation to actually kick off, but Akpabio refused. But a lot of people were thinking Akpabio is an alpha and omega. Even Akpabio himself did not know that he will be kicked out of the office. Now, come and see what happened a few hours ago. The court have finally made the ruling. Akpabio is finally resigning. You see things the way it goes. I would like us to stay connected to the end of this video. If you can share the video as you're watching it, just do what to share it. Share to the social media platforms. Let it go viral. And if you can share it, just like the video, like it, give it a thumb up, so that it will be recommended for us. Just stay connected. I'm coming back again.
Welcome you back to LAJUPOG Watch TV.
I don't have bad news for you today.
The home of religious gossip.
But you should believe the fight for Mohammed.
What is happening in the Christendom? Join now to make sense with LAJUPOG.
Hello my great and wonderful viewers, welcome you back to LAJUPOG Watch TV. For those of you coming across this channel for the very first time, just do well to click the red subscription button appearing in your video screen right now, and at the same time click the notification bell icon, so that whenever we drop a new video in few hours time, YouTube will easily let you to know. A lot of people have been lodging complaint based on Akpabio references when Akpabio actually emerged as the Senate president. A lot of people have been lodging complaint even when they were trying to do embargoment protests and all of that in 2024. Akpabio came out and made known to the general public that he will be in his house eating while protesters are under the sun protesting and all of that. A lot of Nigerians actually kick against it, but Akpabio came out to change his mouth based on that speech that he made. It was the same Akpabio that said that senators are going on holiday and they begin to distribute prayers, and a lot of Nigerians actually know what the prayer is all about. In the Halo chamber there, that's to tell you that these people are actually distributing and sharing money among themselves, so nobody even know where the money is actually coming from, whereas Nigerians are suffering and Nigerians are in multidimensional poverty and in hardship poverty. People cannot afford to eat 2 square meals. Now, a lot of people be praying that Akpabio should just be kicked out of office, but a lot of people be thinking that thing can never happen. They believe that Akpabio is alpha and omega, that nobody can actually kick him off because he's with TINUBU and TINUBU is with him. A lot of people did not like this man right from time. A lot of people put their support for him, but some people did not like him. Even when the issue of Natasha started, a lot of people came out to make it into the general public that Akpabio cannot be a judge on his own case, that Akpabio should step down for the matter to be investigated. But Akpabio refused to step down. But Kasala boss few years ago, Akpabio is finally resigning. They're kicking Akpabio out of office. He's resigning with a son. You will see this for yourself. The court have finally made the ruling. I would like us to stay connected to the end of the video. You will see everything that happened. If you can share the video, just want to share it. Share to the social media platforms. Let it go viral. And if you can share it, just like the video, like it, give it a thumb up, so that it will be recommended for us. A lot of atrocities have been committed by Akpabio, which is very obvious to all Nigerians, and a lot of Nigerians have been kicking against this man right from time. They said they don't want this man to be leading in the Senate again because they believe that his wills and his doings is nothing to write home about. Now, a lot of people, when the issue of Natasha started, they think Akpabio will kick Natasha out of the Senate house forever, that Natasha, the 6 months suspension they gave her, that she may not even come back again. Though Natasha came out to allege that Akpabio have been doing everything possible to silence her forever, and you know what that means. Do all those things were actually alleged. Natasha came out that Akpabio actually wanted to poof her, that Akpabio actually wanted to unalive her. That was what Natasha actually alleged. A lot of things actually happened then, but people were thinking Akpabio cannot be kicked out of that office because he is the son of TINUBU, he is loyal to TINUBU, and whenever TINUBU go to the Halo chamber, they sing the song of alliance to TINUBU, that on your mandate which shall stand, and Akpabio will eventually lead those songs. A lot of senators actually put their support for Akpabio and TINUBU, but nobody ever expected that Akpabio can be kicked out of office. Even TINUBU couldn't even help Akpabio. That's where the matter started from. This matter started as a result of what happened in course of the election. In course of the election, there were voters intimidation, there were voters bullying, there were voter suppression, and a lot of ringings actually took place in different places in Nigeria. A lot of electoral malpractice took place. Now, it have finally leaked to Akpabio now. In the election that took place some time ago, things are now showcasing. A lot of people that actually involved themselves in the malpractice that got Akpabio into the senatorial seat, the kasala finally burst. The nyash of everybody is finally outside now. They've linked the electoral malpractice to Akpabio now. They said Akpabio must leave the office because they believe that Akpabio actually benefited from electoral fraud. You will say things for yourself. You will hear from Akpabio himself. This man is finally resigning. Even the judge, the judiciary, everybody, they're now kicking on Akpabio that Akpabio should leave the seat. That's what is happening. Even TINUBU himself finally kicked against Akpabio. Akpabio never known that TINUBU will not be able to help him at this very time. I don't mean that Akpabio know that TINUBU will not be able to help him at this very time, and TINUBU will deny him. Akpabio would have done something about this issue for him not to come out, but the electoral malpractice that actually took place some years back is finally kicking Akpabio out of office. Now Akpabio is finally resigning. You see things the way it goes. Even the senators are now against Akpabio. You will see things for yourself. I would like you to stay connected to the end of the video. I will play the video now. You will see things the way it goes. If you can share the video, share it. If you can't share it, just like it. See what Akpabio did. Hear things for yourself. Just stay connected. I'm coming back again.
Absolutely. As someone that has officially been assigned to conduct a free, fair, and credible election, and he decided to betray the mandate given to him, definitely there must be consequences, and this is exactly what he has been facing. He has been, jailed, and the beneficiary of this rigging or this fraud cannot just simply be left out of it, so that we can be able to restore political dignity and integrity, as well as bring back confidence on the Nigerian people that if you do anything wrong, you must, no matter how long it has taken, you must face the consequences. In many other countries in the world, it doesn't matter how long you have committed the crime, as long as it has been confirmed that you have actually been involved or you are beneficiary of it, you must face the music, and therefore this case is not also different. And the most important thing is that you cannot really be a leader with this serious moral deficit, with this serious fraud allegation that you benefited, and therefore if you remain where you are, you will be sending a wrong message to the Nigerian people, especially the young people who have now been unfortunately learning only bad lesson from leaders in this country, because they are not seeing the positive lessons, so they assume that the bad thing, the fraud, the corruption, the mismanagement, the looting, the criminality that the political elite are doing in the country, many young people, they think that is the way out. So we must restore the order. We must change this scenario so that our country can at least once change for positive, so that the young generation will not be thinking that the only way you can be prominent is when you are involved in criminality, in fraud, in corruption, in looting, in political violence, and all those negative things. We need to.
But Mr. Dr. Johnny, just sorry to interrupt you. Doesn't the premise need to be correct? Because from what we understand, I mean, you say Senator Akpabio was a beneficiary. From what we understand, he lost that elections. If he eventually won, maybe he went to court. But as declared by INEC, he was said to have lost the election. So how is he a beneficiary?
Yeah, since he lost the election and the electoral officer still went ahead to impose him on the electorate in that constituency, in that senatorial district, that is why we are saying he is the beneficiary of this fraud. Had he been when INEC declared that the man did not win, because if you remember, the commissioner of INEC, in person of Mr. Igini, he had actually stood firm to ensure that justice is done. And that is the credit that we are giving him, or Nigerians are giving him, because he is not one of those INEC official, INEC commissioners that have collected bribe just to undermine the electoral integrity in that election. That is why we need people of integrity in public offices who will not join collecting this bribe to undermine the collective interests of the Nigerian people. If we have such people in our electoral system, I can assure you that Nigerians will have more confidence to even come out on board and to contribute to the political development in this country. But a situation whereby you lose election, but because you have dirty money, you have the security, you have the INEC, in some instances you have the court to now collect that mandate of someone who won the election and then award you that victory. We need to change that mentality.
Mr. Representative, what precisely are we asking for? What are the CSOs asking for?
The CSO are saying that given this electoral fraud that has happened, the person who had benefited from it, who had been wrongly declared, he cannot now preside under number 3 in the nation, because he will be sending a wrong signal that the only way you can attain leadership position is to commit electoral fraud, is to commit, or undermine the electoral law that we have. So therefore, he did not.
His election was, constituted, is tainted, and that, the INEC had even overwhelming facts and evidences as presented by the then electoral commissioner in the state, clearly showed that something fishy had happened. If there was no any problem, why must it be Akpabio case? It could be also the other people, but in this case, we have just seen, just as recent as last week, court validating the fraud that has happened. So we are just looking at it from moral perspective, from ethical perspective, from the fact that we need to leave a legacy. We need to restore confidence on Nigerians that democracy is not a platform for committing electoral fraud, electoral rigging, and what have you.
So let's be clear. The reason you're calling for him to vacate his position is for the sake of public confidence, the rule of law, the integrity of Nigeria's democratic institutions, and I'm quoting verbatim from your press release. And your argument is that if he remains in office, that would undermine democratic values, raise much more fundamental ethical questions, and send a dangerous signal about this country's electoral process ahead of the 2027 general election.
That's exactly what we have articulated in our position, and I tell you that we had more than these 60 organizations. In fact, at the time we were just going to the press, we had several other organizations that we could not even list it in the list because we had a time deadline for people to signify their interest to join on this. Unfortunately, they missed the deadline, so several of them, which will have run into hundreds, we are not able to do that because we need to make sure that we are timely.
So it's a much bigger group.
Exactly, it's a much bigger thing because many Nigerians who have struggled for this democracy, who really want this democracy to be a platform that can ensure justice, fairness, and pre-judiciary, independent judiciary, electoral body that is trusted, security that can be also unbiased, and INEC itself that can really be independent, and the people that can actually vote and be able to get what they have voted. They all need to be worried and concerned, and that is why they want to make sure that whoever benefited from such a system of fraud, he or she should not. So it's not just about a Akpabio person. It is about the fact that a crime had been committed, and irrespective of whoever the party,
the sanctity of the system.
Sanctity of the system.
But that system,
and we cannot be a country that is run by either hooligan or country that is run by unconstitutional order. If we continue that way, it means that we are mutilating democracy.
You have a very good point.
This is
that's the question you raised.
So this is the thing that we are saying. We are saying that in the first place, if you have been involved in this process, even though he denied that he did not, state manage that, but now that we have gotten legal, or judicial conviction in that, case, it means that he has a case, and for him to preserve the sanctity, the dignity of even that position as Senate President, he is like number 3 in the country, and if your election is having this serious integrity deficit, then definitely you need to make that sacrifice to show example that you are not desperate and you are not out there at all costs to stay in that position unless it is a personal interest. If it is for the public interest, there's no argument, there's no worry. You can simply step aside and even apologize to the nation, because there's no way the probe will go to jail and then you are sitting enjoying. Like I said, irrespective of which election it is, it could be, even immediately the first election that he has even contested. But the fact that crime has been committed and you cannot rob or, clean that, crime that has been committed. In other countries, if you are found guilty, even after 50 years, you still go to, face the music. In our country, because of the political control and manipulation and lack of respect for the rule of law and lack of the fact that we don't have political integrity in the system, people think that they can do. Impunity is all over, and they can even rig the election and say let's meet in court, and that is why it's very dangerous. And that's why again you see many unprincipled politicians are jumping from one place to another because they fear that they may actually win at the popular vote, and the people who wanted to take over that mandate, they will just meet in the court, because already they may have planted all sort of judges at the appeal court, at the various courts, that when they go there they will just simply collect that mandate. That is the reason why you even see this madness of defection, not because they believe in President Ahmed Bola Tinubu or they believe in APC. It is because of the protection. They want to make sure that they continue to enjoy the power and the resources of Nigerian people, not because they want to build a vibrant political parties that will be constructive in opposition, that will bring alternative policies and programs that Nigerians can see the difference between what they have been canvassing for them to vote for them and what the ruling party is doing. So there's no principle. It's sad that there's no political party that is based on ideology or principle or even helping to save the Nigerian people or Nigerian economy. All they are after, they want to be there, they want to grab the power, whether at local or state or national level. And when they come, you could see clearly there's no difference between APC, PDP, and the rest of the party, including Labour Party. They are all there doing the same thing, and you could validate that even at the National Assembly. You could barely differentiate between the members of ruling party and members of the opposition parties. They all agree to what many Nigerians see as anti-even legislature, because in legislature you have freedom of expression, in legislature you have freedom to debate and discuss for the national interest. Right now in the National Assembly, if you speak against the leadership of the National Assembly position, you are likely going to be suspended or you are likely going to be ambushed. So therefore the politics in Nigeria has to change. We need to sanitize this whole political system in the country to even give confidence for Nigerians who are not even in the electoral politics to now begin to go in. Right. But the way it is now, it will be extremely difficult if you do not do this dirty thing to get in there. First, you have to get dirty money to finance your election, to finance all sorts of agencies that can help you rig the election. Not campaigning on issues, not actually talking to Nigerians to see the problems they have. None of them is doing any need assessment to see what the problems are. For example, even the current leadership, they have promised so many things, that like electricity, like ensuring that they block leakages. There are so many things they promise. Nobody is asking questions, and because they don't really care about you, all they are interested, they grab the power and they are there and do whatever you want to do.
I think a lot of Nigerians would agree with your assessment. Let's return to the issue that we're discussing here, and let's be clear that your group of CSOs, you're not calling for the Senate President president to step down, but to step aside, which essentially means that he should temporarily vacate his position until the matter is conclusively addressed. Is that right?
Yeah, that's what we are asking, because there's no way he can be seated, in that position, and
you'll be rubbing it in the face.
You expect any fair conclusion on this matter, because the case has already been decided at the appeal court, that can actually restore confidence, on Nigerians, that yes, indeed, Nigerians, political leaders are ready to allow democratic process to happen. Secondly, this is the time that we need to have a thorough reform on our political parties, because the current political parties that we have actually are not meeting the aspiration of Nigerians, and also even a requirement of a true political party system that you have. None of them is engaged in political education. None of them is talking to their members, and none of them is even paying any due. As a member of a political party, you need to be involved, you need to have ownership, you need to participate, you need to be in the decision making. How can you be in the decision making and be involved when it is only the governor, the president, and the big, financier using dirty money in some cases that decide and determine who becomes XYZ? That is not a true political party, and that cannot really usher us a true democratic election.
Yes, talking about parties, I mean, you also mentioned you talked about the ruling APC. You said you were calling on them to demonstrate their commitment to electoral reform and accountability by initiating a rerun of revalidation process for that Northwest senatorial seat in Akpabio state. That's what.
Yeah, because the ruling party can actually do a lot to demonstrate to Nigerians that they are actually serious about electoral strengthening, electoral democracy in Nigeria by taking those steps. If they do that, they would have actually shown a good example, about the conduct or about the process, in Nigeria. So we are appealing to Mr. President to do everything possible to bring some level of sanity, and dignity in the political system in the country. If we just allow things to continue in this loose way, you will see impunity will take over. You will see violence will take over. You will see more marginalization of women and other, disadvantaged groups in the country.
Well, we're almost out of time. You're clearly not impressed with the executive, that arm of government. You're not that impressed with the legislature and the National Assembly. Are you impressed with how the judiciary has handled this case?
In this case, we salute the judiciary, and we also salute the Electoral Office Commissioner, Mike Igini, who
Mike
Igini actually made a huge difference, and he has set a good example of other electoral commissioners who supposed to uphold their position with integrity and dignity. Today he is no more there, but his name has been written in gold in democracy in Nigeria and abroad. So we are proud of him, for him to stay away from collecting bribe, to do things based on rule of law, based on true democracy and true fear of God. Those are the kind of people that we need to have in our public offices, not people who will go and be doing trading with the people's collective interests.
Thank you for staying connected, my great and wonderful viewers. You can see the atrocities that they actually said that Akpabio actually committed. This is not even coming from this on the news. It's all over everywhere. It was few days ago that Natasha came out to allege that Akpabio actually harassed her, all of that. The matter is still in court, and the matter is still trending. It has not even died down. And the same Natasha came out that Akpabio is actually doing everything possible to actually poof her, to unalive her. Natasha actually alleged that, but the fact remains, Akpabio, a lot of people think he cannot leave that office. If Akpabio himself, they should tell him that he's going to leave that office before his tenure completes and all of that. Akpabio will say that is a lie, that's a real joke. But Akpabio is finally leaving the office because the allegation that they actually put on him now is not even sexual allegation or sexual harassment and all of that. This is a big allegation. This is electoral fraud issue. That shows that the tenant Akpabio that he did not get the mandate of the people before he get to the office. And you can't be in office without getting the mandate of the people. That's to tell you that you are not practicing democracy, and Nigeria claims to be practicing democracy. Since you as a representative, you did not get the mandate of the people, what are you doing in the office? Those are the things that is happening, and now the tenant Akpabio to leave the senatorial office, that he did not get the mandate of the people. They said Akpabio actually benefited from electoral fraud, and electoral fraud is a big offense under the law. Do a lot of Nigerian senators or a lot of Nigerian politicians in general, they actually benefited from electoral fraud. Many of them believes in rigging. We should check the number and percentage of politicians occupying political offices as they stand in Nigeria at the moment. Those people that needs to be elected before they get to office, if you check their percentage, allegedly it is not even up to 70% that got the mandate of the people. Not even 30% that got the mandate of the people. A lot of them actually benefited from electoral fraud. That's why you see a lot of them deflecting to the winning party as they stand, because they never wanted to leave power. Many of them are now moving from Labour Party to APC, from PDP to APC. All of them are heading to APC, and you know, a lot of them are heading to APC because they already have issues with EFCC and all of that. They already know that there is cockroach in their wardrobe, so they don't want all these security operatives to actually apprehend them. They don't want the government to hold them based on all the money that is stolen allegedly and all of that. So many of them are not deflecting because they know that once you're in APC, according to what Oshiomhole said some time ago, once you come to APC, you join APC, your sins are forgiven. That shows that no matter the amount of money that they actually stole, if they should join APC, their sins will be forgiven. They will not be investigated. That's what is happening, and that is why a lot of them are actually deflecting to that APC, and that is what a lot of Nigerians are complaining about. There is no credibility in our elections. There's no free and fair election as far as Nigeria is concerned. Again, the people cannot vote, and their vote will actually count. You know, the shenanigans, the electoral malpractices, the voters suppression, the voters bullying, the voters intimidation that always take place in course of Nigeria election. A lot of people actually lost their life in course of the election. Some people will lose their spouse, their partner, their life partner, their husband, their wife, their children in course of Nigeria election, just because the people actually want to select leader. Lives are being lost. Talks hijack different polling units just because they want to rig election for a particular candidate. These are what a lot of the politicians have been doing, and many of them have actually been benefiting from the electoral fraud that is in place now. It has turned in the case of Akpabio now. Akpabio thought he has done it some time ago and it has gone, but he never known that karma is a bitch, that karma will actually come for him. Now, Akpabio did not see it coming. It was even the Natasha case that is even shaken Akpabio before, but come and see the allegation that is coming out on the legs of Akpabio, and the court is making ruling that Akpabio must vacate the senatorial seat. They said he cannot continue as the Senate President of Nigeria. That's what is out there, and a lot of Nigerians are actually happy for it, and why a lot of Nigerians are actually feeling bad that Akpabio will leave the office. Now drop your opinion, feel free, say your mind at the comment section of this video, as I'm gonna let get another trend for you, and share. Follow me on my social media handles on Facebook at LAJUPOG Watch TV and LAJUPOG Entertainment on Instagram at LAJUPOG. Guess what, guys? See you in my next video, and bye for now.
I see the hot for my body, I say make I yarn you. Religious gossip plenty day for body. Pastor with the line on top, be pastor for LAJUPOG Watch TV. Pastor with the back, where politician with the do pass himself. Leader, all the while you waiting for church. All as LAJUPOG Watch TV.